Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are reading from Sri Caitanya Bhagavat by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. All the translations and purports are by His Divine Grace, His Divine Grace, Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, the revered and beloved spiritual master of our founder Acharya, Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. This is Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, Ādi Khaṇḍa chapter 16, text 297. We are seeing the incident where Sri Haridas Thakur was loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which is the Tarak mantra for Kali Yuga. And many people started gaining inspiration and guidance from Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Mahasaya. And they also started chanting Krishna Utkirtana, loud chanting of Krishna's holy name. Krishna Utkirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambho Nidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito Sri Caitanya. What is it? Sri Caitanya? I'm forgetting. Anybody can help me? Sri Caitanya Kripam.
Bhuvi Bhuvo Sri Caitanya Kripa Bharo Bhuvi Bhuvo
Bharavaham Tarako. Thank you. Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. So this is the method. This is the path of the followers of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. That Krishna Utkirtana, Ganana, Nartana, dancing, singing, chanting loudly the names of Krishna. Uccha Swarastam Vada Sarvadaiva Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Shripad Bilva Mangalacharya in Shri Govinda Damodar Stotram also says Uccha Swarastam Vada Sarvadaiva. Always Sarvada Uccha Swara. Loudly chant Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Srila Haridas Thakur was preaching in the mood, following the mood and instructions of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. But one particular Brahman, he could not tolerate the popularity, the fame, the success of Srila Haridas Thakur. This is the nature of an envious heart. And it is said here that he was a Brahman, he was a Vipra. Shuni Vipradhamera Vachana Haridas Hari Bali Ishat Haila Kichuhas. So although in name he was a Brahman, but actually he was envious of Srila Haridas Thakur. So he was not really a Brahman. He was Brahman only in a name. A true Brahman will never have envy. So he started criticizing Haridas Thakur and challenging Haridas Thakur. On what basis are you propagating the loud chanting of Krishna Nam? Is there any Shastric reference? And Srila Haridas Thakur gave Praman from the Shastra, and Srila Haridas Thakur also gave logical argument how loud chanting is better than soft chanting, because soft chanting only we are able to hear, so we are benefited, but loud chanting others are able to hear, so they also benefit. So both logic and Shastric Praman Srila Haridas Thakur gave. What was the Shastra Praman Srila Haridas Thakur gave to the Brahman? Srila Haridas Thakur said quoting from which scripture did Haridas Thakur quote from? He quoted from Naradiya Puran, a verse spoken by Shri Prahlad Maharaj in the Naradiya Puran. Haridas Thakur quoted in verse 283. Japoto hari namani sthane shatagunadhikah atma namcha punat uchchair japan shotrin punati cha. If one loudly chants the holy name of the Lord, it is 100 times greater than one who chants silently. Japoto hari namani, if you silently chant, sthane shata gunadhika, 100 times better than that is to uchchair, to chant loudly. Because one who chants silently purifies only oneself, but those who chant loudly purify others also. Anyone who hear them. Shrutrin, anybody who can hear, they are purified. This verse is spoken by Shri Prahlad Maharaj in the Narada.
I tried, I don't know why.
Sorry, Prabhu, I muted.
No problem. So this was quoted from the Naradiya Puran by Srila Haridas Thakur. So he gave logical reason also, and he gave Shastrik Praman also from a Mahajan, from Prahlad Maharaj, from Naradiya Puran. So very nice, high quality evidence he gave. But still, the Brahman was not satisfied. And he said that if what you are saying is not true, then I will cut off your nose. He told Haridas Thakur. Now that is very insulting to speak to somebody. I will cut off your nose if what you are saying is not true. So actually there is a very beautiful verse in Caitanya Bhāgavata that Srimad Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj would sing in his Mangala Charan classes. If you hear the video recording of his classes, Maharaj's classes, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj would sing this in his Mangala Charan to Bhagavatam class. So beautiful, na? This verse from Caitanya Bhāgavata. Jena mane Bhagavata sei pashu sama tara shasta janme janme aya prabhu yama. I love this verse. It's very nice. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, Jena mane Bhagavata sei pashu sama, or say yavan sama. Say pashu sama. They are like a animal or like a yavan. They are very low class people who don't accept Srimad Bhagavatam. Jena mane Bhagavata sei pashu sama. Tara shasta janme janme. And who will do shasan over them? Who will punish them? Tara shasta janme janme. Birth after birth they will be punished by who? Hai Prabhu Yama. Their shasta will be Prabhu Yamraj. Jena mane Bhagavata sei pashu sama tara shasta janme janme hai Prabhu Yama. Jena mane Bhagavata. Those who do not accept Srimad Bhagavatam, they are like an animal. They are like Yavan. They will be punished birth after birth by Prabhu Yamraj. But Jena mane Bhagavata has two meanings. Who can explain the word Bhagavat? There are two types of Bhagavat. Who are they? Raise your hand. Yes, Kirta Sundari Mataji, please go ahead.
Book Bhagavat and person Bhagavat.
Oh, very good. Yes. There are two types of Bhagavat. Who explains this? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this to Devananda Pandit in Chaitanya Bhagavat. That you were teaching Srimad Bhagavatam and you were insulting the Bhakta Bhagavat sitting in your assembly, Srivas Thakur, who is Narad Muni. So there is Bhakta Bhagavat and there is Grantharaj Bhagavat. There are two types of Bhagavat. The Bhakta Bhagavat, the devotee Bhagavat, who is a devotee Bhagavat? One who is living one's life in harmony with Srimad Bhagavatam. One who is living the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam is a Bhakta Bhagavat, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Haridas Thakur. And then there is the Grantha, the Pustak Bhagavat. and they are non-different. Both are very purifying. So this so-called Brahman, here is referred to in verse 296, is referred to as Vipradhamera, the sinful Brahman, the Adham Brahman. Only in namesake he was a Brahman. Only by birth he was Brahman, not by his qualities. He did not accept the words of Haridas Thakur, and he spoke such insulting words to Haridas Thakur. But what did Srila Haridas Thakur do? He simply smiled and chanted the name of Hari. Hari Bali Ishat Haila Kichu Has. He smiled and he continued chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Why Haridas Thakur smiled? Haila Kichu Has. Why he smiled? Because Neech Apamanam Sudha. Even if a Neech person, a sinful person does Apman, we consider it to be Sudha. Normally when a fallen person insults, if a superior insults us, we don't know what to say. We just accept it. We are scared. The superior person, what can I do? A very learned person chastises us, criticizes us. We don't know what to say, what to respond. We don't know what pratyuttar to give, what answer to give, so we are quiet. But when a Neech person, someone who is abominable, starts criticizing us. For example, if someone is eating meat and points out to a devotee and says, hey, there is onion garlic in that. What food you are eating? You are so abominable. You are eating onion garlic. So immediate reaction is, hey, why are you telling me? You are eating onion garlic yourself. You are eating meat also. At least I am not eating meat. So Neech Apamanam Sudha. When a Neech person insults us, it is a reflex to give pratyuttar, to shoot back at them and point out their faults. Like they say, people living in glass houses should not throw stones at others. But even when criticized by a fallen person, a Neech person, to consider it as nectar, that is called Neech Apamanam Sudha. So Haridas Thakur smiled because he tasted Sudha, he tasted nectar in the criticism of that Vipra Adhama, the fallen sinful Vipra Brahman. So now we'll begin text 297. So Haridas Thakur just continued chanting and he smiled. He did not retaliate. Pratyuttara ara kichu tare na kariya, chalile na uchcha kari kirtana gaiya. Haridas Thakur did not speak further to that atheistic Brahman, but left immediately while loudly chanting the holy names. He left that place. One should not associate. If somebody is a Vaishnav Dveshi Jan, how do we deal? How does a Madhyamadikari deal with a Bhakta Dveshi Jan, Vaishnav Dveshi Jan? How does one interact? What does Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto teach us? Please raise your hand. How do we interact with Krishna? How do we interact with a devotee? How do we interact with a Balishu, one who is innocent but ignorant? And how do we interact with someone who is Dveshi, envious, like this Brahman Adhama? Raise your hand. Prema Maitri Kripopeksha Yaha Karoti Samadhyama. With Krishna there is Prem. With Krishna's devotees there is Maitri. Prema Maitri. Kripa is for Balisheshu, one who is innocent but ignorant. We preach to them. Prema Maitri Kripa and Upeksha. Upeksha means to avoid the association, to neglect, avoid the association. That is for the Dveshi. So in this way, Haridas Thakur is teaching us how one should behave. This is a Bhakta Dveshi Jan. We should not interact with such people. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu had to interact with the Bhakta Dveshi Jan, in Caitanya Bhagavad that story is mentioned. Mahaprabhu was going to Srivasangan and he was accosted by few Bhakta Dveshi Jan, envious people. And what did the envious people tell Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu? You are going to Srivas Thakur's house and with your friends you are doing that loud Nam Sankirtan, chanting the names of Vishnu loudly. Where in the scriptures it is said that we should chant loudly? Same challenge that Haridas Thakur faced. Even Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu had to face that later on. So Mahaprabhu said that all over the scriptures it is mentioned that one should chant loudly. Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Jayanti Shumeda. So Bhagavatam is given, 11th canto. But they said, now because of your loud chanting, we have complained to the Qazi. We have complained to the Nawab. And the Nawab is sending soldiers. And the Nawab wants to see you. He wants to have a discussion with you. You are preaching, na? You are chanting loudly. Now the Nawab wants to see you. Let's see what happens. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, in his jovial mood, he said, yes, it will be very nice. I am such a Pandit. I have learned all the scriptures, but nobody wants to argue and discuss Shastra with me. Mukunda runs away. Gadadhar runs away. Everybody runs away from me. So it's good if the Nawab calls me for a discussion. I would love to discuss Shastra with him. So the envious people, they got even more angry. Mahaprabhu was simply joking. And they said that he's not calling you to discuss Shastra with you. He's calling you so he can beat you and beat all those devotees who are your followers and break your mridangas and break your houses and throw them into the river, Ganga. Mahaprabhu did not say anything. He just turned away and came to the house of Srivas Thakur. And he told Srivas Thakur, Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, all the assembled devotees, that today I have interacted with Vaishnav Dveshijan, envious people. I am feeling very contaminated. Let us chant Harinam Sankirtan. Let us do Harinam Sankirtan. That is the only way to purify one's heart of this contamination. So Haridas Thakur is teaching us, Mahaprabhu is teaching us that we should not associate with atheistic people, especially who are envious of the devotees. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says, hearing that atheistic fallen Brahmana's unpalatable words, which would send him to hell, Srila Haridas Thakur did not reply. Pratyuttara ara kichu tare na kariya. He did not give pratyuttara, did not give any reply, but rather chanted loudly, Uchcha kari kirtana. Just now the Brahmana told him, don't do Uchcha kirtana. So we don't listen to these nonsense people, their instructions. We don't listen to them. They can say what they want. They can criticize our path. There are many people who criticize ISKCON, who criticize the pure Vaishnavas, who criticize the path of Harinam Sankirtan. They come up with so many concocted ideas. I don't even want to say those things. But those videos are there on YouTube and Facebook and all over the internet. And they are challenging. We don't speak to them. We don't listen to them. We don't follow them. We don't associate with them. There is no need. Srila Haridas Thakur, he did not change his behavior because of what this Brahmana was saying, so-called Brahmana was saying. Uchcha Kari Kirtan Gaiya. He started chanting, singing loudly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and Chali Lena. And he left that place. That is what we should do. We should leave the place. Immediately left that place, which was polluted with the offense of giving some interpretation on the holy names of Lord. Interpretation to the holy names of the Lord. So here I will share something. So to give some false interpretation to the holy name, Arthavad. So Guru Ravagya Shruti Shastra Nindanam Arthavadaha Harinam Nikalpanam Namno Baladyasya hi Papa Buddhir na vidyate tasya yamair hi Shuddhi. So Arthavad, to give some false interpretation to the holy names of Krishna. So he's unnecessarily giving this, that, oh, the name should not be chanted loudly. Why you are chanting loudly? It should be chanted softly. You are not following the Vedas. I know the Vedas. So just giving some own interpretation based on one's own intelligence. That is an offense to the holy name. We should not do that. We should see what the Shastra is saying. Tasmat Shastram Pramanante. We should see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanante. Therefore, Shastra is the Praman. We have to see what the Shastra is saying, what Bhagavad Gita is saying, what Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, what Caitanya Charitamrita is saying, what our Acharyas have written. So, Guru Sadhu Shastra, we have to pay attention to that. So, he left that place. Srila Haridas Thakur left that place because that place was polluted with the offense of Arthavad. Text 298. Jeba papi sabhasad seha papamati uchita uttara kichu nakarila ithi The sinful members of that assembly were all wicked-minded. The Brahmana was simply representing a group of people, and all of them were like-minded. Birds of a feather flock together. The envious people associate with each other, and the non-envious devotees, they associate with each other. They have their Sanga, we have our Sadhu Sanga. Like that. So they go for their vacations, we go for our yatras. They go for their movies and sports games and this and that, restaurants, we go to our Sunday feast, we go to our temple. So we have our life, they have their life. And both are opposed to each other. They will never agree to the path of Tiranadapi Sunichena Kirtane Sadahari, and we will never agree to their path of eat, sleep, mate, defend, make merry, hook or crook, enjoy. We will never agree to their way of life. Ya nisha sarva bhutana tasyam jagrati samnami tasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha paschato mune. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that these two paths are opposed to each other. It's like day and night. What is day for them is night for us. What is night for them is day for us. What to do? It will always be like that. There are two types of people, the demons and the demigods. Vishnu Puran explains. Those who worship Vishnu, they are demigods. Those who don't worship Vishnu, they are demons. This will always be there. So everybody was wicked-minded. Papamati in that assembly. Sabha, Seha Papamati. All the people in that Sabha, in that assembly, were Papamati, wicked-minded, sinful people. They neither supported the authorized statements of Srila Namacharya Haridas Thakur, nor protested the offensive words of the Brahman. This was their downfall. This was their disqualification. That they did not oppose the sinful Brahmana who was criticizing the loud chanting of Harinam, who was criticizing Sri Haridas Thakur, nor did they support the authorized statement of a Mahajan, Sri Haridas Thakur. So they failed. They failed in both ways. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ji Maharaj writes, those sociable persons who support and encourage sinful persons with loose character are also sinful. So people who are sinful, they are fallen. But those who support the sinful people, they are also fallen. What to speak of supporting the scriptural statements of Srila Haridas Thakur? The members of that assembly neither supported the scripturally based statements of Srila Haridas Thakur nor protested the unpalatable words of the atheistic fallen Brahman, Vipradhamir. If in spite of being born in a Brahman family, a person becomes averse to the worship of Sri Hari, which is his prescribed Brahminical duty, then he is called a Rakshas or a demon. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastra Japa Tapa Aparanasya eva dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. Our jati, our knowledge of Shastra is useless if we are Bhagavad Bhakti Hin. If we are devoid of Bhagavad Bhakti. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastra Japa Tapa. Aparanasya dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. It is simply decoration of a dead body. You can decorate a body in a coffin, in a tuxedo suit, put nice makeup on the face so that people who come for visitation, they see a nice, good-looking, handsome dead body. But is that tuxedo suit going to do anything for the soul of the person that has already departed and gone into another body? No. It is mandanam lokaranjanam. It is lokaranjanam. It is for the pleasure and satisfaction of the people in general. It does nothing for the soul. When sinful persons averse to the prescribed Brahminical duties give up the service of Sri Hari, which is their only duty, then they fall from their position and become Rakshas. Some people call such persons Brahma Bhruvas, so-called Brahmanas. Like this person who is criticizing Srila Haridas Thakur. He is a Brahman Bhruvas. He is a so-called Brahman Bhruvas, or Brahmanadhama, like mentioned in this verse, Vipradhamar, Vipradhama, or Brahmanadhama, the fallen Brahman. In this life, such persons fall from their Brahminical position, and after death, they receive profuse punishment from Yamraj. Tara Shasta Janme Janme Haya Prabhu Yama. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is speaking. Repeating the words of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Yes, they will be punished by Yamraj. So their fault was that they did not oppose the Brahman Adhama and they did not support Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. Can you give me one example from Caitanya Charitamrit where this is seen? Where a Vaishnava Aparadhi was not stopped by the homeowner and the Vaishnava was not supported by the homeowner and therefore the homeowner fell down. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kaviraj Goswami. When Meenaketan Ramdas came, Kunarnava Mishra, the Pujari, did not offer obeisances. And the brother of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also did not say anything. In fact, he had the audacity to tell Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that I have faith in Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, but I do not have faith in that Avdhut Nitai. So he fell down. And what did Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami do? He left that place. And following the instructions of Nityananda Prabhu in the dream, he came to Vrindavan and attained the lotus feet of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. How beautiful is that? So this is very important. We have to support the Vaishnavas and we have to speak against those who are Avaishnavas and those who are Vaishnav Dveshi Jana, those who are envious of the Vaishnavas. We must speak against them and we must support the Vaishnavas. Ladini Mataji did that. She was willing to give her life for this principle because this principle pleases Mahaprabhu. E sakala rakshasa brahmana nama matra e sabaloka yama yatanara patra. Aha. They were Brahmanas only in name. They were Brahman Bruvas. Bruvas means to speak. So, Swayam Chayava Bravishime. In Gita Ji, Arjun tells Lord Krishna. That's Asito Devalo Narada. What is that? Swayam Chayava Bravishime. And you are also saying that. So, Bravishime is to say. So, they are Brahman Bruvas. Only Brahman in the namesake. Just so-called Brahmanas they are. They were Brahmanas only in name. Actually, they were all demons, fit to be punished by Yamraj. Ei saba loka yama yatanara patra. They deserved yatana. They deserve punishment by Yamraj. Because they are actually demons. Sakala Rakshasa. All these people, not just that Brahmana who argued with Srila Haridas Thakur, but all of them who were supporting him. They were all demons. Kali Yuge Rakshas Sakala Vipra Ghare Janmi Beka Sujanera Himsa Karibare. In Kali Yuga, demons are born in the families of Brahmanas in order to harass the saintly persons. Sujanera Himsa Karibare. To trouble the Sujan. To trouble the devotees. Devotees are called Sujan or Sajjan. Satam. They are very pious people. Very pure. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahasaya named his magazine Sajjan Toshani. The magazine that gives pleasure to the Sajjanas, to the devotees. So, Sujanera Himsa Karibare. Janmi Beka. They take birth in Brahman family simply to give trouble to the devotees. Kali Yuga, in Kali Yuga this will happen, not in other yugas. Previously in Dwapar, Treta, Satya Yuga, the Brahmanas, mostly they were like actual Brahmanas. They had the Brahminical qualities of Shama, Dhamma. But now in Kali Yuga, Rakshasa Sakala Vipra Ghare. They take birth in the Vipra Kul. Purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes, though demoniac persons who are envious of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, Dveshijan, envious of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, may take birth in the Brahmana families, they nevertheless envy the Vaishnavas. This is the specialty of Kali Yuga. This is the specialty of Kali Yuga. That they have envy. They have envy. They nevertheless envy the Vaishnavas. This is the specialty of Kali Yuga. What is the proof from Caitanya Charitamrit that such a demoniac mentality person taking birth in the family of a Brahman? Raise your hand if you can tell. A demoniac person appearing in the family of a Brahman. Yes, Nidhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, is it Jagai Madhai?
Very nice. Amazing example. Jagai Madhai. Yes. They were Jagadananda and Madhavananda. Both were devotees. Very nice. Devoti Mataji. But they were demons. Jagai Madhai. Yeah.
प्रभु जगह मदा ही था.
Acha, Jagai Madhai. Very good. Any other example you can think of? Parima Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's not from the Caitanya Charitamrita though. Do you want
Okay, tell me.
It's
Tell us.
Ajamil.
Ajamil was not a...
Demoniac, yeah, but well, he did deviate. I don't know whether I should say that.
But it's a good example that although he was a Brahman by birth and by Acharan also, but he fell down, bichara. He fell victim to lust, bad association. But we are saying they took birth with this demoniac tendency.
Oh,
Like either said, no, that demons will take birth in the Brahman kul.
okay.
Literally, it's a demoniac mentality.
Okay, Prabhu.
So, but a good example. Jagai Madhai, classic example, and this also. Ajamil also good example that although they were Brahman, but somehow they fell victim to bad association and started behaving like demons, demoniac. So good, both are good examples. Bhakti Sanga Japa group.
Thinking of two examples, I don't know if it's appropriate. One was Amogha, and the other is Gopal Chapal.
Very nice. Both are very good examples. Actually, I was going to share this one only. Amogha, very classic example. He was the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the topmost Brahmana, pure Brahman, and his son-in-law. So see here, we'll read some verses, very beautiful. Caitanya Charitamrita, this is. Shuni Kripamaya Prabhu Aila Dhaiya Amoghe Re Kahe Tara Bhuke Hasta Diya. Bhuk means on the bosom, on the chest. Hasta means hand. As soon as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu heard that Amogha was going to die from cholera because of the Vaishnava Aparadh, he immediately ran to him. Aila Dhaiya. He went running to him. And Amoghere Kare Tara. Amoghere Kahe Tara. He spoke to Amogha, Bhuke Hasta, keeping his heart on Amogha's chest. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu spoke. Now see. Sahaje nirmala ei brahmana hridaya krishnera vasite ei yogya sthanahaya. The heart of a Brahman is by nature very clean, nirmal. Therefore, it is a proper place for Krishna to sit. Krishnera vasita, a yogya sthana hai. Krishna will sit in a clean place. Therefore, Chetodarpana Marjanam is essential for us. There is no way around self-purification. So Krishna sits in the heart of a Brahman because the Brahmana's heart is clean. Naturally clean. By nature. Sahaja Nirmala. Brahmana Hridaya. Okay? Matsarya Chandala Kene Iha Vasaile Parama Pavitra Sthana Apavitra Kaile. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Amogha, Matsarya Chandala Kene Iha Vasaile Parama Pavitra Sthan Apavitra Kaile. Why have you made this Pavitra Sthan, your heart, which is supposed to be Nirmal, Apavitra, dirty, contaminated, by keeping the dirt of Matsarya, jealousy, envy? Why are you letting envy sit in your heart? Sarvabhauma Sange Tomar Kalusha Hailakshay Kalmasha Guchile Jiva Krishna Namalay. However, due to the association of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, all your contamination is now vanquished. Mahaprabhu is not giving credit to himself. Actually, Mahaprabhu is touching him on the heart. Giving credit to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. This is Krishna's nature, actually. Always. Rukmini Devi also, Krishna told, look, your armies have defeated Rukmini. Your armies have defeated Rukmini. Lord Ramachandra also told Srimati Sita Devi that your armies have defeated Ravan. And now we are united. Always giving credit to others. Mahaprabhu is purifying Amogha, but giving credit to Sarvabhauma. Due to association with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, all your contamination is now banned. Sarvabhauma Sange Tomar. Kalusha. Hailakshay. Kalusha means all contamination. Hailakshay. It is gone. Kalmasha Guchile Jiva. Krishna Namalaya. When a person's heart is cleansed of all contamination, then he is able to chant the Hare Krishna mantra nicely. Utaha amoga tumi lao Krishna nam achire tomare kripa karibe Bhagavan. Therefore you get up and you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you do so, Krishna will unfailingly bestow mercy upon you. Very important. Prabhupada is quoting from Bhagavad Gita. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam tidvandva moha nirmukta bharate mam dridhavrata. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport, a Brahmana may be very learned scholar, but this does not mean that the Brahmana is free from material contamination. A Brahmana's contamination, however, is in the mode of goodness. So Brahmanas are in the mode of goodness, Kshatriya in the mixed mode of goodness and passion, Vaishyas are mainly in the mode of passion, and some Tamogun also, and Shudras are mainly in Tamogun. Some passion. So everything is a mixture, but the Brahmanas are mainly in goodness. But mode of goodness also is a contamination because it still falls under the Gunamayi Maya. All the three modes of material nature are material, they are not spiritual. So Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Krishna tells us to go beyond the three modes of material nature and become nirgun, become transcendental to the gunas, and that is only possible by bhakti. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samadita brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So Brahmana also is not brahma bhuyaya kalpate. A Brahmana is not sa gunan samatita. No. A Brahmana is in the mode of goodness. So Brahman is eligible to become Vaishnava. But a Brahman is contaminated with the mode of goodness. In this material world, the three modes are goodness, passion, ignorance, sattva, rajas, tama. And all of these are simply different gradations of contamination. Shackles made of gold, mode of goodness. Shackles made of silver, mode of passion. Shackles made of iron, mode of ignorance. But they are shackles nevertheless. They bind us in this material world. Prabhupada Ji Maharaj says, unless a Brahman transcends such contamination and approaches the platform of unalloyed devotional service, he cannot be accepted as a Vaishnava. A Brahman becomes a Vaishnava, not other way around. A Vaishnava is superior to a Brahman. A Brahman is eligible for bhakti. A Brahman has bhakti adhikar. But a Vaishnava is a bhakta already. Hare Krishna. This I am not saying. I am quoting from a very beautiful essay that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya wrote, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada also wrote as an elaboration. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote 4 or 5 pages. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada wrote almost 150 pages. And it is available free of cost on internet. Just type on the internet Brahman and Vaishnava. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. PDF. Hit enter and you will find it. It is translated from Bengali into English by Srila Prabhupada's disciple, His Grace Bhumipati Prabhu. So you can read it. It's a 160-page document approximately. Very nice, very informative. Actually, it's right here. It's on Internet Archives. See this? Brahmanism and Vaishnavism. Are you able to see my screen? Brahmanism and Vaishnavism by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya.
Yes, Prabhuji.
See, clearly it said Brahmanism is a step towards Vaishnavism. A Brahman has adhikar. And the same verses are quoted. Sahaji nirmalai Brahmana hridaya Krishnera vasaite yogya sthana hai Matsarya chandala kene iha vasaile Parama pavitra sthana apavitra kaile. Why you have done this? Envy is the opposite of love of God. Envious persons are not Brahmanas. Who are they? They are Brahman Bruvas. Just so-called Brahmanas or Brahman Adhama or Vipra Adhama. They are only namesake Brahman. The actual quality of Brahman, Srila Thakur Mahashaya is quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita also says, Shamo Damastapa Kshaucham. Santushta Kshantir Arjavan. Jnanam Dayachyutatmatvam. Satyam cha Brahma Lakshanam. These are Brahma Lakshanam. These are the qualities of a Brahmana. And one of them is Achyutatmatvam. To have devotion, Atmiyata towards Lord Achyut, Krishna. This is required for one to be a Brahman. One must be inclined towards service to Sri Hari. These are the 11 symptoms of a Brahman, Brahman Lakshana. They have to be self-controlled. Damas, tapa, austerity. Shama, peaceful. Dama, self-control. Tapa, must perform austerity. Shaucham, Brahman should be pure. Santosha, Santushtam Satam Yogi, should have satisfaction. Kshantir, forgiveness. Not just peacefulness, Shama, but also Kshantir, to forgive others, like Prahlad Maharaj. Arjavam, simplicity. Jnanam, Brahma Janatiti Brahman, must have knowledge. Daya, must be compassionate. That's what the father of Lord Parshuram, Maharaj Jamadagni, he told Parshuram that why did you kill Kartaviri Arjuna Raja? You should forgive. The essential quality of a Brahman is forgiveness. Daya, Kshantir, compassion. Daya means compassion. They should be compassionate. And Achyutatmatvam, should have devotion towards Achyut. Satyam, they should always speak the truth. These are the qualities of a Brahman, not envy. Brahman should be nirmatsar. And if one is Brahman by qualities, then he is a real Brahman. Just by birth, one doesn't become Brahman. Shripad Narad Muni says in the 7th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, giving instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj, Yasya lakshanam proktam pumso varnabhi venjakam yad anyatrapi drishteta tat tena eva vinirtishet. If one shows the symptoms of being a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra as described above, even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to the symptoms of the classification. So it doesn't matter where we are born, which family we are born. If we have the symptoms, then. And very beautifully in his commentary, Tika, to this verse of Bhagavatam, 7th canto verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, the original commentator of Bhagavatam, Srila Sridhar Swami Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Swami Mahashay, has said something very big, very beautiful. Shamadhi bhir eva brahmanadi vyavharo mukhya. It is the vyavhar, the behavior, that is most important. Na jati matra, not just the birth. So I'll read the translation in the interest of time. The Brahmana's main characteristics are qualities such as peacefulness, not birth. If these main characteristics are seen in persons other than those born as Brahmanas, then such persons should be considered Brahmanas. They should not be considered according to their caste of birth. They should not be. It is according to na tu jati nimitten artha. Not according to the birth, but by qualities. Chaturvarna Mahashutam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Now see, unless one becomes a spiritual Brahman, he cannot become a Vaishnava. Hare Krishna. A Brahman evolves into a Vaishnava. Unless one becomes a spiritual Brahman, he cannot become a Vaishnava. So Brahman, then Vaishnava. That's the natural evolution of a Jiva. In the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad 3.9.10, it is said something very beautiful. Etad aksharam gargi aviditvasmal lokat praiti sa kripanaha atha ya etad aksharam gargi viditvasmal lokat praiti sa brahmanaha. O daughter of Gargacharya, he who leaves this world without learning about the aksharam, the infallible Supreme Lord, is a Sa Kripanaha, is a Kripana, a miser. O Gargi, O daughter of Gargacharya, one on the other hand, one who is acquainted with that infallible truth. Atha ya etad aksharam gargi viditvasmal, one who knows Akshar, one who knows Krishna, the infallible truth, then one transcends death and is a Brahman. Sa Brahmanaha. That person is a Brahman. Brahma janati, Aksharam janati iti Brahman. Now in Bhagavad Gita 11.18, Bhagavad Gita 11.18, Arjun offers beautiful prayers, and this verse Krishna is addressed as Akshara. Arjun is saying, Tvam Aksharam Paramam Veditavyam, Tvam Asya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam, Tvam Avyaya Shashvata Dharma Gopta, Sanatanastvam Purusho Mato Me. This is one of the beautiful prayers in Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with beautiful prayers after prayers after prayers, but so is Bhagavad Gita. There are beautiful, beautiful prayers in Bhagavad Gita also. 10th chapter, 11th chapter, 2nd chapter, 18th chapter. Many, many beautiful prayers. Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan comes in 10th. This comes 11th, there are chapter, there are maximum prayers. I love this particular prayer. Here, Tvam Aksharam. Arjuna is saying, oh Krishna, you are Akshar. See here, Krishna is called as Akshar in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Tvam Aksharam, Paramam Veditavyam. You are the supreme person. And Dharma Gopta. I love this. Arjun says, Krishna, you are Dharma Gopta. You are the protector of Dharma eternally. Shashvata Dharma Gopta. You can actually let me share this verse with all of you. It's worth seeing. I hope you are still able to see the screen, even though I am changing the tabs. Verse number 18. This is the verse I'm talking about. Tvam aksharam paramam veditavyam, tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam, tvam avyayam shashvata dharma gopta, sanatanastvam purusho mato me. Very beautiful verse. Arjuna is calling Krishna as Aksharam. So here also, Akshar. One who knows Akshar Krishna, that person is a Brahman. Then, in the interest of time, we'll go fast. There is no need to become a caste Brahman in order to attain Krishna. Not required. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj says something fascinating. Apparently, there are such foolish people that they were making claims after studying Srimad. Just analyze this. It is really crazy. Some people would say that Bharat Maharaj could not attain Krishna because he was Kshatriya. One has to be born as a Brahman before we can get Krishna. Therefore, Bharat Maharaj became a deer and then he was born as Jada Bharat. As Jada Bharat, he was born in a Brahman kul. He was born in a Brahman family. That's why he went back to Godhead. Just see the mentality of people. They will extract Apasiddhanta even from the Amalam Puranam. Even from the Amal Puran, they will extract Mal. These fools. They said like this about Jada Bharat. So, to refute that nonsense argument, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahasaya is quoting from Bhagavad Gita, Mami Partha Vyapashritya, Yepisyu Papa Yonaya, Striyo Vaishyas Tadha Shudras, Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. Doesn't have to be Brahman. Even a Shudra, even a person who is in the Vaishya kul, some people say women cannot get. Even women can get. Someone is born in a sinful meat-eating family like Haridas Thakur, Papa Yona, they can also get. Anybody can get. Only qualification is Ashritya. Mam Ashritya. One has to be surrendered to Krishna. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. That is required, like Shripad Vallabhacharya has taught us. We have to take shelter of Krishna. Then anybody can get. And of course, if one is born in a Brahman family, already Punya Kul, and one becomes Mam Ashrit, one becomes Krishna Ashrit, then fir to kehna hai kya? Then it is very good. Or one is a Bhakta, one is a Rajarshi, then what to speak of them? That is even glorious. But Anityam Asukham Lokam Imam Prapya Bhajasvamam. What is most important is Bhajasvamam. Bhajasvam. We have to do Krishna Bhajan. That is most important. Whether one is a Rajarshi, whether one is born in a Bhakta family, one is born in a Punya Brahman family, whether one is born in a Papa Yoni, whether one is a Stri, whether one is a Vaishya, whether one is a Shudra. Yanti param gatim. They will all get param gatim. They will all get the supreme highest destination, Golok Vrindavan, if we become ashrit. If we become ashrit, we become surrendered to Krishna. And by the influence of devotional service, one's position as an outcast is destroyed and he becomes a spiritual Brahman. So when we say Brahman Diksha in ISKCON, it refers to the position of spiritual Brahman, which is a natural progression of a Vaishnava. Apichet suduracharo bhajate maam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavya samyak vavasito hisa chipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nikachati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranashyati. Sadhureva samantavya bhajate maam ananya bhak. So here Krishna is saying that anityam asukham lokam, after coming to this dukkhalayama shashvatam, bhajasvamam, do my bhajan. And what happens? Bhajate maam ananya bhak. One who is doing ananya bhajan of Krishna, even if some durachar happens, even if some sudurachar happens, some very bad activity happens, but still he is a sadhu. He is a sadhu. He will become a dharmatma very soon. Okay? Because a devotee is never destroyed. Now, one has to not see Brahmanas and Vaishnavas as two different camps. This is very important. Please pay attention. Srila Thakur Mahasaya is saying, don't think Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are two different camps and they are always opposed to each other. No, it is not like that. Citing several examples, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahasaya is saying that actually Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are related as brothers. A Brahmana is qualified to become a Vaishnava. Srila Thakur Mahasaya says, that is why Lord Krishna has displayed so much respect for Brahmanas. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahman Hitaya. Why? Because Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, read this sentence, the Brahmanas are naturally qualified to become Vaishnavas, not other way around. Brahman, then the next upgrade is Vaishnava. Brahmanas are naturally qualified to become Vaishnavas. That is why Lord Krishna displays respect and love for Brahmanas, because they have the adhikar to become Vaishnavas. For the Brahmanas who are qualified for pure devotional service, they are qualified for pure devotional service. If we receive the causeless mercy of the Brahmanas, we can become pure. No one can become a Vaishnava by disregarding the position of a Brahmana. Very, very important. Amanina manadena. We should not disrespect the Brahmanas. Nothing. I am a Vaishnava. Ami to Vaishnava, ei buddhi haila, amanina hoilo ami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if we think I am a Vaishnava, then one cannot be amani, one cannot become prideless. So we should not respect the Brahman. No one can become a Vaishnava by disregarding the position of the Brahmanas. And a Brahman can never become successful by disregarding the position of Vaishnavas. Hari Bol. That is very important. Therefore, let the natural brotherhood of the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas shine brightly throughout the entire world. Srila Prabhupada Ji Maharaj explains in a purport very beautifully, my dear friends. We have to understand this Siddhanta very nicely. What is the difference then between a Brahmana and a Vaishnava? Please listen carefully and understand this very clearly. A Brahmana is one who has all those qualities. Shama, Dama, Arjavam, Satyam. All those qualities are there in a Brahmana. So a Brahmana can be a Brahmavadi also. A Brahmana can be a Brahmavadi also. Impersonalist also can be a Brahmana. Like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a pure-hearted person, but he was a Brahmavadi before he met Mahaprabhu. Correct? So a Brahmana could be an impersonalist also. A Brahmana could be inclined towards Karma Kand also. May do Satyanarayan Puja to get some material benefits. A Brahmana. So he's a Brahmana. He's pious, but he's got the contamination of Karma Kand. A Brahmana may have Abhilasha, may have desire for moksha, may have contamination of Jnana Kand. So a Brahmana may have Karma Kand, may have Jnana Kand, but a Brahmana is pious. Or a Brahmana can be a Vaishnava also. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a Jnani, but then he became a bhakta later on. He was a mukti kami. He became a bhakta then. Therefore, he wanted to change the Bhagavatam verse also, which Mahaprabhu said, don't change. Anybody knows which verse he wanted to change? Raise your hand. Tatte nukampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvakva purbhir vidadan namaste jive tayo mukti pade sadaya bhagava mukti kami. Now he became averse to mukti. He said, nahi, mukti nahi chahiye. I don't want mukti. Let's change this verse to bhakti pade sadaya bhag. Mahaprabhu says, there is no need to change the words of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is perfect. In this verse, mukti means bhakti. You have to see the actual meaning. Not just Shabdanuvad, you have to see the Bhavanuvad. The Bhav of Shukdev Goswami here, the Bhav of Lord Brahmaji here is bhakti only. So no need to change. Be happy. But he wanted to change like that. So, so this is the difference, my dear friends, that a Brahmana may have multiple paths, but a Vaishnava is one-pointed. A Brahman may be a Bhakta, a Brahman may be a Karma Kandi, a Brahman may be a Jnana Kandi. Brahman can be all of this, but when a Brahman becomes purified completely, becomes a pure Vaishnava. Goes to the path of one-pointed Bhakti, Hari Bhakti. Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. That is Srila Rupa Goswami's definition of Bhakti. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Adi Anavratam Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. That is Uttama Bhakti. So when a Brahman gives up Jnana Karma, takes to the path of Hari Bhakti purely, then becomes a Vaishnava. Then the Brahman becomes a Vaishnava. So Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are brothers. Brahman can be of different types, but Vaishnava is only one, Achyut Gotra, completely devoted to Krishna. That is a Vaishnava. And a Brahmana has eligibility to become one-pointed towards Krishna and thereby become a Vaishnava. But Brahman is a very evolved human being. Brahman studies the Vedas, which are coming from the Shwas of Lord Vishnu. Brahman is devoted his life to the study of Vedas, which are given to us by Krishna himself. Vedayasya sarvairaham Vedanta krit. Krishna is Vedanta krit, Veda Vedevachaham. So Brahman eventually will become a Vaishnava. But Vaishnavas can never remain Vaishnavas or never become Vaishnavas by disregarding the Brahmanas or disregarding anybody. Why should we disregard? Amanina manadena. And similarly, a Brahman can never become successful by disregarding the position of Vaishnavas. Therefore, let the natural brotherhood of the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas shine brightly throughout the entire world. Do not let selfishness and foolishness enter between them and create enmity. In order to spread the prestige of the Brahmanas in this world, Sriman Caitanya Mahaprabhu Dev enacted the pastime of curing his fever by drinking the Charanamrita of the Brahmana. Raise your hand if you know this pastime. Where does this happen? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to Gaya. And on the way to Gaya, Mahaprabhu exhibits the pastime of developing high fever. No Vaidya can cure him. They asked Nimai Pandit, how will you get cured from this fever? Nimai Pandit said, wash the feet of the qualified Brahmanas and bring their Charanamrit. Only by drinking their Charanamrit will my fever go away. And it was brought, and Mahaprabhu drank the Charanamrit of Brahmanas and became cured. Then proceeded on the way to Gaya, where he met Sri Ishwar Puripad and took Diksha. Chaitanya Bhagavata describes this pastime. So, Mahaprabhu enacted this. So, therefore, Mahaprabhu teaches us all these things. Then, there is something more important here. The Vaishnavas are beyond the principles of Varnashram. This is very important to understand, my dear friends. Varnashram has got 4 Varna, 4 ashrams. And the spiritual paths are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And Brahmacharya, Grihastha Dharma, there is Vanaprastha Ashram and Sannyasa Ashram, like that. Social divisions and spiritual divisions. So, Vaishnava is beyond this. And what is the Praman? That a Vaishnava aspires to be beyond the Varnashram system? What is the verse that Mahaprabhu quotes in Caitanya Charitamrita? Raise your hand. Naham vipro na cha narapatir na api vaishyo na shudro naham varani na cha grihapatir no vanastho yatirva kintu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnamritabdher gopi bharatuhu padakamalayor dasa dasanudasah. Mahaprabhu himself is saying that Naham vipro, I am not Brahman, nacha narpati, I am not a Kshatriya, na vanastho, I am not vanaprastha, yativa, and I am not a sannyasi. Naham vipro, nacha narapatir, na api vaishyo, na shudro, naham varani, nacha grihapatir. I am not a brahmachari, I am not a grihastha, no vanastho yatirva. I am not a vanaprastha or a sannyasi. So naham vipro, nacha narapatir. I am not a Brahman, I am not a Kshatriya. Naham vipro, na cha narapatir, na api vaishyo, na shudro. And I am not a Vaishya and I am not a Shudra. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, I am not any of these. Who am I? Gopi bhartu pada kamalayor dasa dasanudasa. So a Vaishnava is beyond Varnashram. The 8 divisions. Beyond Varnashram. This we should understand. A Vaishnava is beyond. Therefore, we should not see Vaishnava with a fault-finding mentality. We should never see faults in the Vaishnavas. So here we go to Upadeshamrit. Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrit, verse number 6 is teaching us. Drishtay svabhava janitair vapushascha doshair na prakritatvam bhakta janasya pashet. Gangam bhasam na khalu budbuda phena pankair brahmadravatvam apagacchati nira dharmai. Budbuda means bubbles. Phena means foam. Pankar means mud. Gangam, the water of Ganga, it may have all this contamination, bubbles, foam, mud. Brahmadravatvam. But we should always know that Ganga water is not some prakrit neer. It is Brahmadravatvam. It is completely transcendental and spiritual. Gangaji is always spiritual. Ganga Devi is always spiritual. Even though there may be mud, foam, bubbles in the Ganga. Similarly, my dear friends, a devotee may have certain apparent dosh. Oh, born in a low family. Oh, has got some physical ailment. Cancer, paralysis, amputation, infection, asthma, this, that. So many things may be there in the body of a diabetes, high blood pressure. We should not see a Vaishnava with mundane eyes that he has got all these dosh. Blood sugar ज़्यादा है, blood pressure ज़्यादा है, cholesterol ज़्यादा है. नहीं. We should not have that narabuddhi in a Vaishnava. Never. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad is teaching us. We should not. We should understand that a devotee is Brahma Dravatvam. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen. Such a Vaishnava, a pure Vaishnava, should not be seen from materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee is having a body born in a low family. A body with a bad complexion. Oh, this is black body. Yesterday I was attending the Vyas Puja celebration of His Holiness Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. And His Grace Srivas Prabhuji from West Africa. He is one of our Gurujan, one of the initiating gurus in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. His Grace Srivas Prabhu was saying that Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj himself revealed to him once that I could have taken birth in any family. But Krishna personally requested me to take birth in an African American family, in a black body, family of black people, so that I could preach and elevate the black community. Therefore, I'm preaching so much to the African Americans and in the African countries. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj traveled everywhere. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj preached in England, France, India, America, everywhere, Russia. But specifically, he gave his time to Africa and to the African American community. And indeed, we see so many African Americans, so many Africans, they have taken to the path of Krishna consciousness, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, because of Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj's efforts. Because that was specific service Krishna gave him, specific empowerment Krishna gave him. So every Acharya has his or her own flavor, own unique service. And we should appreciate that. Now, if Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would not have revealed this, you would have never known this. Everything happens for a reason. It's utter madness in this material world, my dear friends. But there is a method to that madness also. Things are happening for a reason. We may not be able to see it. Why this is happening, why that is happening, there is a reason. It is exactly like the water of the Ganga, which sometimes during rainy season is full of bubbles, foam and mud. The Ganga waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganga without considering the condition of the water, knowing that it is Brahmadravatvam. It is spiritual. So like that. So in this way, those who try to make Vaishnavas subordinate to the Varnashram system, they say, Vaishnavas, first you become a proper Brahman, first you become a proper Kshatriya, first you become a proper Vaishya Shudra. If we try to bring a Vaishnava down to the level of Varnashram, then that is unauthorized endeavor. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, it is unauthorized. Under the guidance of Shri Gaura Sundar, the Vaishnavas are servants of Gopi Jana Vallabh. Yes, the Vaishnavas are directly servants of Gopi Bhartu Padakamalaya Dasa Dasa Anudasa. The unauthorized interference of the authority of Vaishnavas by the Smartas, who are attached to fruitive activities, and the Prakrit Sahajiyas and the caste Goswamis, Jati Gosai. This is not proper. Now, Viprasamya, this is a very important concept. Viprasamya, the similarity of a Brahman and the Vaishnavas. This is what we should focus on. Not what is the difference, but how we can come together, how we can be together, how we can be unified. Similarly, in the interfaith dialogue also, what is the difference between Christianity and Gaudiya Vaishnavism? What is the difference between Islam and Gaudiya Vaishnavism? What is the difference between the Buddhist religion, Jain religion, Jewish religion, or even the Hindu Dharma traditional from the Gaudiya Vaishnavism? What is the difference? Instead of focusing on the differences, the question, more intelligent question is, what is the similarity between them? That is called Viprasamya. What is the similarity? Any person initiated into Vishnu Mantra by a bona fide spiritual master is qualified to worship Shaligram Shila. This is very important. This our acharyas have said. Any person who is initiated into Vishnu Mantra, like the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, by a bona fide spiritual master, or the Gopal Mantra, can worship Shaligram Shila. We have to be initiated, and Guru should give us Agya. The explanation of the word Viprasamya by the less intelligent people. But the less intelligent people, they don't understand the actual meaning of Viprasamya. What do? For example, if we say that the face of Devadatta is like the moon, then we can understand that the face of Devadatta is not the moon, rather it has some similarity with the moon. Therefore, in beauty, the face is inferior to the moon. Considering in this way, some less intelligent people may conclude that the word Viprasamya indicates that although Vaishnavas are equal to the Brahmanas in some ways, they are nevertheless inferior to the Brahmanas. Brahmanas are like the moon and the Vaishnavas are like the face. No, it doesn't mean like that. At this juncture, a doubt may arise that while the procedure to show respect equally to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas is in worldly dealings is there, and the acharyas have mentioned the word Viprasamya, and where the word Vipra refers to subject of comparison, the word Vaishnava refers to the object being compared. So this tarka can be there. So then Thakur Mahashaya explaining the word Viprasamya. But before concluding this way, one should patiently deliberate how it has been described everywhere that the beauty of the moon is more beautiful than a man's face. Furthermore, it has always been the practice to exhibit the similarities of more beautiful and famous object with the less beautiful and non-famous object. And thus the beauty of the latter has been established. In this type of comparison, the fault of exaggeration may often arise. But if we carefully analyze the statement of scriptures, then we will find that the devotees of Lord Krishna have always been established as the topmost. So the moon is the Vaishnavas. If we study the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami Prabhu with special attention, then we will know that a Vaishnava has not been compared with a Brahman in this way, in the same way that the face is compared to the moon. Rather, the fact that a Vaishnava is not inferior to the Brahman in any way, as far as external prestige is concerned, has been shown with gross external worldly consideration to envious people who are unqualified to see other supremacy. For example, when the Shastra explained the form of the Supreme Lord to a devotee who is attached to the opulent feature of the Lord, it conceals the most wonderfully sweet form of Shri Krishna and depicts him with names like Narayan, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Param Brahma. By this process, the complete eternal form of Shri Krishna is not indicated. Yet at the same time, it is not a lie to call Krishna Shirodakshaya or Narayan. In this way, you can read, the time is going out, so I am hurrying up. Because a worshipper of Supreme Lord who knows Brahman is a Vaishnava, if by the word Viprasamya it is concluded that a Vaishnava is inferior to a Brahman or only equal to a Brahman, then the behavior of Shastra and Sadhus would not have proved opposite. But what are the Shastra and Sadhus saying? When Vaishnavas have been glorified thousands of times as greater than Brahmanas, it cannot be concluded that the word Viprasamya means that the Vaishnava is inferior or equal to a Brahman. It is the other way around. And what is the proof? Here is the proof from Garuda Puran. Please listen carefully, my dear friends. Brahmananam sahasrebhyah satrayaji vishishyate satrayaji sahasrebhyah sarva vedanta paragah sarva vedanta vitkotya Vishnu bhakto vishishyate. It is said that out of thousands of Brahmanas, Brahmananam sahasrebhyah, one is qualified to perform sacrifices. Satra yaji vishishyate. One is qualified to perform sacrifices. Not all Brahmanas. Only some Brahmanas are specially qualified to perform yajnas. Out of many thousands of such qualified Brahmanas, Satra yaji sahasrebhyo, such yaji, such yajna karne wale Brahman, such yajnik Brahmana sahasrebhyo. Among thousands of such yajnik Brahmanas who are performing yajna, one learned Brahmana may have passed beyond all Vedic knowledge. Sarva Vedanta Paraga. Hardly one of such hundreds of Yajnik Brahmanas may actually understand the full Vedanta. Sarva Vedanta Vitkotya. And among crores of such Brahmanas who completely understand the Vedanta, Siddhanta. Sarva Vedanta with Kotya Vishnu Bhakto Vishishyate. Among many such Brahmanas who understand the Vedanta completely, one who is a devotee of Lord Vishnu is the best. Vishnu Bhakto Vishishyate. So such is the rarity of Vaishnava, means Vishnu Bhakta. Very, very rare. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, this verse is quoted from the Puranic literature. Name Bhaktas Chaturvedi. Mahaprabhu also quotes this in Caitanya Charitamrita. Name Bhaktas Chaturvedi. I'll show you this verse. It's very beautiful. See this. Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. Dui bhai dura haite bhumi te padiya bhatte dandavata kaila atidina hayya. From a distance, Rup and Shri Vallabh, Shri Rupa Goswami and Shri Vallabhji, they fell Dandavat Pranam Kaila. They offered obeisances to Shripad Vallabhacharya, Shri Vallabh Bhatta. This is happening in Varanasi, where they go to meet Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But now, Shripad Vallabhacharya, high class Brahman. Bhatta mili bare jaye, duhe palay dure, asprishya pamara moe nachu iha more. When Shripad Vallabhacharya walked towards them, Shri Rupa Goswami and Shri Vallabhji ran away to a more distant place. Duhe palay dure. Why? Shri Rupa Goswami said, Asprishya pamaramui. I am untouchable and most sinful. Na chuniha more. Please do not touch me. Now see the subtlety here. Srila Rupa Goswami, although born in a Brahman kul and being the topmost Vaishnava, more than that, topmost Vaishnava, he's saying, I am Pamar. I am asprishya, I am untouchable. But see, he doesn't say asprishya Pamara Ami Nachuni Hamore. He doesn't say Ami. He doesn't include Sri Vallabh. He's saying only me. See the subtleness, the subtlety of etiquette. Sri Rupa Goswami is not calling Sri Vallabh, his younger brother, as Pamar or asprishya. He's only talking about himself. Asprishya Pamara Mui Nachuni Hamore. Please do not touch me. Bhattera Vismaya Haila Prabhura Harshaman. Bhattere Kahila Prabhu Tara Vivaran. Shri Vallabh Bhattacharya was very much surprised, Vismaya, at seeing this, that Sri Rupa Goswami is saying, I am Pamar. Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, however, was very pleased. Bhattera Kahila Prabhu, Prabhura Harshamana. Mahaprabhu was pleased by seeing the humility of Sri Rupa Goswami. And therefore he spoke to Shri Vallabh Bhatt this description of Rupa Goswami. Mahaprabhu is describing Rupa Goswami. Iho nasparshiha iho jati atihina o vaidika yadnika tumi kulina pravina. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Sripad Vallabhacharya, Vaidika, you are a very much knower of the Vedanta, like we were seeing. You are a knower of Vedanta. And Yadnika, you know how to perform many sacrifices. Kulina Pravina, and you are born in a very high-class Brahman family. And Praveen, you are a very expert Brahman. Iho nasparshiha, don't touch them. Iho jati atihina. Because this Rup and this Vallabh, Anupam, they are atihin. They are very fallen. You don't touch them. And see, we have very good relation with other sampradayas. Shri Prabhupada Ji Maharaj writes in the purport, the present head of the Sripad Vallabhacharya Sampradaya of Bombay is Shri Dikshit Maharaj. He is very friendly to our movement. And whenever we meet him, this learned Brahman scholar highly praises the activity of the Hare Krishna movement. He is a life member of ISKCON. And although he is learned scholar, in the Brahminical caste tradition, he accepts our ISKCON society, considers its members bona fide devotees of Lord Vishnu. See, this is the cooperation between different societies of Vaishnavas. Duhara mukhe nirantara Krishna nama shuni bhatta kahe prabhur kichu ingita bhangi jani. Hearing the holy name constantly vibrated by the two brothers, Shri Vallabh and Shri Rupa Goswami. Our Sripad Vallabhacharya, Shri Vallabh Bhattacharya could understand the hints of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ingita could understand Jani. Some indication is there, he understood. Because he was also a Param Vaishnava. Sripad Vallabhacharya, Param Vaishnava Acharya. He understood. It takes one to know one. Duhara mukhe Krishna nama kariche nirantar. Not nirantar. Nartan, dance. Duhara mukhe Krishna nam kariche nartan. Ei dui adhaman nahe haya sarvottam. Sripad Vallabhacharya countered Mahaprabhu. Hari bol. He countered Mahaprabhu and said, no. Since these two brothers, Shri Rup and Shri Vallabh, mukhe Krishna nam kariche nartan. Constantly they are chanting Harinam, and Krishna Nam Prabhu is chanting, dancing on their tongue. Ei dui adhamanahe. Don't cheat me, Mahaprabhu. They cannot be adham. Hai sarvottam. They are the topmost Vaishnavas. Jai ho. Shri Vallabh Bhattacharya's admission of the brothers' exalted position should serve as a lesson to one who is falsely proud of his position as a Brahmana. Sometimes so-called Brahmanas do not recognize our European and American disciples as devotees or Brahmanas. And some Brahmanas are so proud that they do not allow them to enter temples. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu herein gives a great lesson. Although Shri Vallabh Bhattacharya was a great authority on Brahmanism and a learned scholar, he admitted that those who chant Lord's holy name, Krishna Nam, are bona fide Brahmanas and Vaishnavas and are therefore exalted. Aho batashva pachato gariyan yajjivhagre vartate namatubhyam te pus tapaste juhuvu sasnurarya brahmanuchurnam grinanti yete. Bhagavatam 3.33.7. Who speaks this verse? Who spoke this verse in Bhagavatam? Mother Devahuti to Shri Kapila Dev. My dear Lord, those who always keep your holy name on the tongue, yah jivhagre vartate namatubhyam. Those who are chanting your name, she's telling her own son, who is Bhagavan, becomes greater than an initiated Brahman. Although he may be born in a family of dog-eater, Shwapacha, and may therefore by material calculation may be lowest among men, he is still glorious. This is the wonderful effect of chanting the holy name of Krishna. It is therefore concluded that one who chants the holy name of Krishna should be understood to have performed all kinds of austerities. Tepu, tapa. They have already done all tapasya, everything mentioned in the Vedas. He has already taken his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Sasnu. And has studied all the Vedas. Brahmanuchu. And he's actually Arya. He's actually the topmost person. Arya. If Nama Grinanti, if they are chanting your holy name, then yes. Shuni Mahaprabhu Tare Bahu Prashamsila Prema Vishta Haya Shloka Padhite Lagila. Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Dev was very pleased to hear Shripad Vallabhacharya quoting from Shastra about the position of a Vaishnava being superior to that of a Brahman. Yes, the Lord praised him personally. And feeling ecstatic love of Godhead began to quote many verses from Shastra. Shuchi Sadabhakti Deepagni Dagda Durjati Kalmasha Shwapakopi Budhay Shlagyo Navedadnyo Pinastikaha. A person who has pure characteristics of a Brahman due to devotional service, which is like a blazing fire, burning to ashes all the sinful reactions of past lives, is certainly saved from the consequences of sinful acts such as taking birth in a lower family. Even though he may be born in the family of dog-eaters, he is recognized by learned scholars. But although a person may be a learned scholar in Vedic knowledge, he is not recognized if he is Nastika, if he is atheist. He is from Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya. Bhagavad Bhakti hi nasya jati shastram japas tapaha Aparanaseva dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. This you already saw. This verse. That without Bhagavad Bhakti, it is useless. Everything is simply useless. So we saw this. How about this? Antelila, chapter 4, Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Srila Sanatana Goswami. Nicha jati nahe Krishna bhajane ayogya satkula vipra nahe bhajane rayogya. Very important. Nicha jati nahe Krishna bhajane ayogya. Just because we are born in a non-Brahman family does not mean that we are ayogya, disqualified for Krishna bhajan. No. And Satkula Vipranahe Bhajanera Yogya. Clearly the distinction is given between Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Satkula Vipra, someone born in a high-class Brahmin family, Nahe Bhajanera Yogya. Just by being born in a high-class Brahman family does not give us the adhikar for Krishna bhajan. Nahe Bhajanera Yogya. Who has qualification to do Krishna bhajan? Jai bhaje sai bada abhaktahin achar Krishna bhajane nahi jati kuladi vichar. One who does Krishna bhajan is bada, is exalted, and abhakta is hin char. Abhakta is condemned. Abhakta is fallen. One who is not devotee is considered most fallen. And one who does Krishna bhajan, sai bada, is exalted. Krishna bhajane nahi jati kuladi vichar. As far as discharging devotional service to Krishna is considered, is concerned, there is no concern of jati, kul, family, caste, no consideration. Clearly it is said. Nothing need to be Brahman. No. Dinera adhika daya kare Bhagavan, kulina pandita dhanir bada bhiman. Now one who is born in a higher class kul, Brahman kul, one who is very pandit, knowledge of Vedas, one who is dhani, money, bada abhiman. They have a lot of abhiman, they have a lot of pride, but they don't get Krishna kripa. Who gets Krishna's mercy? Who gets Krishna's daya? Who gets dayara sagara daya? Dinera adhika daya kare Bhagavan. Krishna gives mercy to Deen, not one who is proud. Vipradvishad gunayutad aravindanabha padaravinda vimukhashvapacham varishtham manne tadarpita mano vachane hitartha pranam punati sakulam natu bhuri manah. Ultimate evidence. This is Amala Puran, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahajan Vakya, words of Sri Prahlad Maharaj, spoken to Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narasimhadev, accepted and approved by Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narasimhadev Bhagavan, because he became very pleased after hearing these prayers, and quoted by the Supreme Lord, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is speaking these words, quoting this Praman from Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, Mahajan, is saying, one may be born, a clear distinction is there between a Brahmana and a Vaishnava. One may be born in a Brahman family and have all the 12 Brahmical qualities also. Cleanliness, austerity, etc., knowledge, yes. But if in spite of being thus qualified, he is not devoted to the lotus feet of Krishna, Padaravinda Vimukhad, if he is Padaravinda Vimukh, if he is not devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who is also Arvindanabha, Namo Pankajanabhaya, Namaha Pankajamaline, Namaha Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajanghaye. If a Brahman who has the Brahmical qualities of cleanliness, austerity, knowledge of the Vedas is not devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who has a navel shaped like a lotus, he is not as good as a Chandal. Someone born in a Chandal family, a dog-eater family, but who has dedicated his mind, words and activities, wealth and life to the service of Lord Krishna. Shwapacham varishtham. A Shwapacha, a dog-eater family born person, is more glorious. Varishtham. Why? Because that so-called Shwapacham, so-called low-caste person, Chandal, Yavana, Mlecha, Pamara, is tad arpita mana vachana. Artha, pranam. Aha, what a description. Manne tad arpita mano vachane hitartha. He has given his money, ihita his activities, vachana his words, and mana his mind. Tad arpita. It is offered to Krishna. Yat karoshi yadashnashi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kauntya tat kurushva mad arpanam. Obeying this instruction of Krishna, a person who is born in a low-class family, maybe a meat-eating family, dog-eating family, uncultured family, but one who is chanting Hare Krishna, Jivhagre vartate nama tubhyam, and is dedicating his words, mind, activities, money in the service of Krishna, it is Krishna arpita, then punati sakulam. Such a person purifies not only himself but the whole family. Natu bhurimana, but not a person who is pandita kulina dhani bada abhiman, bhuriman. He considers himself very great. Pandita kulina dhani bada abhiman. Such a person will not get. But a person who is humble, who is dedicated, mind, body, words, money, everything, manasa, deha, geha, jo kichumor, arpilo tua pade nanda kishor, that person purifies himself and purifies his whole family also. What a beautiful verse. Let's sing Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitanya Charitamrita. Vipra dvishad gunayutad aravindanabha. This dvishad, this 12 qualities we saw. Remember? We saw those 12 qualities that a Brahman has. And Prabhupada ji mentions also. They are mentioned in the Shastra. Vipradvishad gunayutad aravindanabha padaravinda vimukha swapacham varishtham manye tadarpita mano avachane hitartha pranam punati sakulam natu bhuri manah. Aha. What can I say? This is such a beautiful verse. Let's click on that verse. Prabhupada ji writes very beautiful purport. Again quotes Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya. Mam Chava Vyabhicharena. We already saw this verse. So these are the qualities, 12 qualities of a Brahman. They are from Sanat Sujat, one of our Vedic Shastras. These are the qualities Prabhupada ji mentions. Jnanam, Satyam, Damaha, Shrutam, Amatsaryam, non-enviousness, Titiksha, all these things, Yajna, Danam, Shamas, Dhriti, Mahavrata, Dvadasha, Brahmanasya. These are the 12 qualities of a Brahman. So like that. But if one doesn't have Bhakti, Bhagavad Bhakti, then all the Jati, Kul, Shastra knowledge, Jap, chanting, we can be chanting Brahma Gayatri Mantra, Jap, no problem. All that is good only in the worldly platform. If we have no devotion for Krishna, Bhagavad Bhakti Heen, then it is all Notpadayadi Ratim Shrama Evahi Kevalam. If we don't have Rati for Krishna, it is Shrama Evahi Kevalam. So very beautiful evidence is there in our Shastra. There is no limit to how much good fortune we have received, really, my dear friends, because of Srila Prabhupada. Again, another verse quoted in purport by Srila Prabhupada is Bhagavatam 1.26, Kunti Maharani. Janma Ishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edamana Madhapuman Naivarat Abhidhatum Vai Tuam Akinchana Gocharam. So who has qualification to do Krishna Bhajan? It is Akinchan, one who is Akinchan. But one has pride of one's Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, knowledge of the scriptures, Shribhi, one's wealth. These are all intoxications, Madhapuman. Therefore, we should be humble. We should not commit offense against anybody, including the Brahmanas, and we should just do Naam. Tar Madhya Sarva Shresh, Naam Sankirtan. Bhajanera Madhya Shresh, Navaida Bhakti. Here it is said, Bhajanera Madhya Shresh, Navaida Bhakti, Krishna Prem, Krishna Jite Dhare Mahashakti. Tar Madhya Sarva Shresh, Naam Sankirtan. Nirapradhe Naam Lele Pabe Premadhan. Naam Sankirtan. Sankirtan means congregationally loudly chanting. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes from Bhakti Sandarbha of Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada. Very, very beautiful what we should do. How chanting of the holy name is the most important activity for attaining love of God. In the Prabhupada is quoting Rupa Goswami's Namashtakam first verse, Sanatan Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrit verse, very nice. Jayati Jayati Nama Nandarupam Murare Viramita Nija Dharma Dhyana Puja Diyatnam Tathamapi Sakridattam Muktidam Praninam Yat Paramam Amritam Ekam Jivanam Bhushanam Me. And finally, the glory of the holy name 2.1.11. Etan Nirvidyamananam. Shukdev Goswami hits the sixer when he comes to bat in the beginning of the second canto. The opening verses of Srila Shukdev Goswami, when he actually starts speaking. First canto, Shri Shukacharya doesn't speak anything. Towards the end of the first canto, he appears in the Sabha. And second canto, when first chapter, Srila Shukdev Goswami starts speaking, literally the hair stand on end, reading those verses. Try reading the first chapter of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hair will stand on end when Srila Shukdev Goswami starts speaking. My God, what verses, this is one of them. Etan nirvidyamananam ichchatam akuto bhayam Yoginam Nripaniranitam Harer Namanukirtanam. Hey Parikshit Maharaj, constant chanting. Harer Namanukirtanam. Constant chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna. Harinam. After the ways of the great authorities. Yoginam Nripaniranitam. Yes, all these Brahmanas, all the kings, yogis, they have made this nirnay. They have come to this conclusion that the doubtless, fearless way, akuto bhayam, the doubtless and fearless way of success is what? Constant chanting of the holy name. And it's for everyone. It's for everyone. Those who have material desires, those who are no material desires, those who are Atmaram, self-satisfied. For everyone. The treatment is Harer Namanu Kirtanam. It is for everyone, for all time to come. And then, 6th canto, our Yamraji, he clearly says, Etavaneva lokesmin, pumsam dharma parasmrita, bhakti yogo bhagavati tannama grihanadibhi. Ultimate religious activity is bhakti yoga, which begins with chanting the holy name. Very beautiful. The pastime continues, my dear friends. So very nice praman is there about the position of a Brahman. And to understand that there is similarity between Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, there is this verse from the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is described that Sarvatra Khalita Deshaha Sapta Dvipaika Dandadhrik Anyatra Brahmana Kulad Anyatrachyuta Gotrata. We are Achyut Gotra after Diksha. Prithu Maharaj was an unrivaled king and possessed the scepter of ruling all the 7 islands on the surface of the globe. No one could disobey Prithu Maharaj's irrevocable orders except the saintly persons, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. 2 types of saintly persons. Brahman Kulat, those who are Brahmanas, and Achyut Gotra, those who are Vaishnavas. So very beautiful. The 7 islands, Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Australia, Oceania. Our Prithu Maharaj was ruling everywhere. And then we'll conclude today's discussion with this one verse that is from Padma Puran and Srila Prabhupada Ji Maharaj is quoting. So please listen carefully. Prithu Maharaj had no control over the Brahman Kula because he was Kshatriya. Kshatriya are considered subordinate to the Brahmanas, which refer to the learned scholars in Vedic knowledge. Nor did he have any control over the Vaishnavas. So he did not have control. Shri Prithu Maharaj, even though he is an empowered incarnation of Krishna, Shri Prithu Maharaj did not have control over the Brahman Kul. Why? From the point of view of Varnashram. Please listen carefully. Prithu Maharaj had no control over the Brahmanas due to consideration of Varnashram. Because in the Varnashram system, the Brahmanas are the topmost, then the Kshatriyas, then the Vaishyas, then the Shudras. So that consideration. Okay? But Prithu Maharaj had no control over the Vaishnavas. Why? Because they are above considerations of Vedic knowledge. They are beyond the Vedic knowledge. They are beyond the Varnashram, which is described in the Vedas. Vaishnavas are beyond that. It is therefore said in Padma Puran, Arche Vishnu Shiladhir Gurushu Naramatir Vaishnave Jati Buddhir Vishnurva Vaishnavanam Kalimala Mathane Padatirthem Bubuddhi Shri Vishnur Namni Mantre Sakala Kalusha He Shabda Samanyam Buddhir Vishnu Sarveshwareshe Taditara Samadhir Yasya Vanaraki Saha. Arche Vishnu Shila Dhir. Dhir means one's to consider, to think with one's intelligence, to conclude that Arche Vishnu Shila Dhir. One who thinks the deity in the temple to be made of just some dhatu, wood, metal, marble, stone. Gurushu Naramatir, and one who thinks the spiritual master to be an ordinary man, Naramatir. Vaishnava Jati Buddhir, and to think of a Vaishnava who belongs to the Achyut Gotra to be belonging to a certain jati, certain caste or creed. Oh, this is a Brahman Vaishnava. Oh, this is a Kshatriya Vaishnava. Oh, this is a Russian devotee. Oh, this is an American devotee. Oh, this is an Indian devotee. Not like that. This type of buddhi is Naraka buddhi. To have jati buddhi in a Vaishnava, consider him to be born in some Brahman, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra kul, or one who thinks Charnamrit or Ganga water to be ordinary water, because it is Brahma Dravatvam. We saw in Upadeshamrit. It is Brahma, it is spiritual. Pada Tirthe Ambu Buddhi. To consider it Ambu Buddhi. Again, Buddhi. Buddhi means to consider it to be just Ambu, just water. Shri Vishnu or Namni Mantre Sakala Kalusha Hai Shabda Samanya Buddhi. And to consider the name of Krishna, Krishna Nam Mantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, for example, which can destroy all the sins, to be Shabda Samanya, to be just to consider Krishna Nam to be just some ordinary word, Shabda. Vishnu Sarveshwareshe Taditara Samadhir, and to consider Lord Vishnu to be ordinary person also. What is that? Avajananti mam mudha manusham tanum ashritam param bhavam ajanantam mama bhuta maheshwaram yasyava narakisa. Such a person resides in hell. Now, from the facts presented in this verse, it appears that people in general should be controlled by a king until they come to the platform of Vaishnavism or Brahmanism. They come to a platform of Vaishnava or Brahman, who are not under the control of anyone. Brahmana refers to one who knows Brahman. Brahma janati iti Brahman. See, here Prabhupada says that a Brahman could be an impersonalist also. Listen. Brahmana refers to one who knows Brahman or the impersonal feature of absolute truth. And a Vaishnava is one who serves Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdate. So that is the distinction. In summary, a Brahman and Vaishnava both are glorious. In the Varnashram system, the Brahman is topmost, but a Vaishnava is beyond Varnashram system. Beyond Varnashram system. A Vaishnava directly worships Krishna one-pointedly. A Brahman lives a pure pious life but can be multi-branched, may not be on the path of Uttama Bhakti, but a Brahman has the adhikar, has the qualification, has the ability to quickly take to the path of Uttama Bhakti. So Vaishnava is superior to a Brahman. Always. A Brahman can evolve, upgrade into a pure Vaishnava. That is the understanding. But as Vaishnavas, we understand this, but we don't consider ourselves as Vaishnava. Amita Vaishnava e buddhi haya amanina hoilo ami. So Vaishnava doesn't consider himself or herself a Vaishnava or a Vaishnavi. So doesn't disrespect anybody. There is no question of disrespecting anybody or considering anybody to be lower than us. Dinera Ādi Gadādhara Dāsa Bhagavan. Pandita Kulina Dhani Bada Abhiman. So we should be very humble and just take shelter of Krishna Nam, take shelter of the association of sincere Vaishnavas. That is the sum and substance of today's reading. Grantharaj Shri Caitanya Bhagavat ki Jai. Did we finish all the verses? Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, I'll quickly finish the verses. So Brahmanas in name only, actually they were demons fit to be punished by Yamraj. In Kali Yuga, the demons will take birth in Brahmana families to harass saintly people. And the verse quoted is from Varaha Puran by Lord Shiva. Shankar Bhagavan himself has said this in Varaha Puran. Rakshasa kalim ashritya jayante brahmayonisu utpanna brahmana kule badhante shrotriyan krishan. In Kali Yuga, demons will take birth in the families of Brahmanas to harass those rare persons who are conversant with the Vedic way of life. Badhante, they will create impediments and harass the devotees. Okay, and Rakshasa Jayante Brahma Yonishu. They will demoniac people will take birth in Brahman Kul in Kali Yuga. Kalim Ashritya. In Kali Yuga this will happen. This is from Varaha Puran. Esava Viprera Sparsha Katha Namaskar Dharma Shastre Sarvatha Nishedha Karibar. The scriptures forbid one from touching, speaking, or offering respect to such a Brahman. Such a Brahman who is envious of the devotees, envious of Krishna, should not be associated with. We should not see such a person, we should not speak to such a person, we should not touch such a person. And It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.3, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is quoting, listen carefully, Ya esham purusham sakshad atma prabhavam ishwaram na bhajant avajananti sthanad bhrashta patant adha. Very clearly it is said, if one simply maintains an official position in the 4 varnas and the 4 ashramas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi, if one simply officially maintains this, but does not worship Lord Vishnu, Ishwaram na bhajant, avajananti, one who is not respectful to Vishnu, doesn't worship Vishnu, jo Bhagwan ko nahi bhajte, those who don't worship Krishna, sthanad bhrashta, they fall down from their puffed up position, patanti adha, and they go into hellish condition. Text 303. Kim atra bahunoktena brahmana he avaishnavaha tesham sambhashanam sparsham premadena pivarjayet. There is no need to speak further on this. Even by mistake, one should not touch or speak to those brahmanas who have no devotion for the Supreme Lord. Brahmana yehi avaishnava. If a Brahman is avaishnava, tesham sambhashanam sparsham pramadenapi varjayet. We should give up any sambhashan, any sparsham, any touch or any conversation with a Brahman who is avaishnava. This is spoken by Lord Shiva in Padma Puran. So Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is quoting from Varaha Puran, Padma Puran. Shupakavam eva niksheta loke vipram avaishnavam vaishnavo varna bhayopi punati bhuvanatrayam. If a person born in a Brahman family is a Vaishnava, a non-devotee, then one should not see his face. Exactly as one should not see the face of a Chandal or a dog eater. However, a Vaishnava from a Varna other than Brahman can purify the 3 worlds. Vaishnava Varna Bhayopi. Even though it may be in some other Varna, but the person is a Vaishnava. He may be a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, anybody, but is a Vaishnava, devoted to Lord Vishnu. Vaishnava Varna Bhayopi Punati Bhuvanatrayam. Can purify the 3 worlds. But if a Vipra is Avaishnavam, Loke Vipram Avaishnavam, Shwapakam Eva Neksheta. We should not see such a person, just like we will avoid a meat eater. Brahmana Haya Jadi Avaishnava Hai Tabe Tara Alapeha Punya Jayakshay. One who converses with a non-devotee Brahman, Brahmana Haya Jadi Avaishnava Hai, with a non-devotee Brahman, then Punya Jayakshay. Our piety is lost if we converse with him. Alapeha. If we talk to a person who is a Vaishnava, maybe Brahman, anybody, Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriya, if we talk to a Vaishnava, then we are ruined. A Vaishnava Mukhadgiranam Putam Hari Kathamritam Shravanam Naiva Kartavam Sarpo Chishtam Ethapaya. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes, if one converses with a person who was born in a Samanal Brahman family, who has undergone Savitra Samskar, yet has not taken Vaishnava initiation, who envies the Vaishnavas and considers himself a non-Vaishnava, then one heaps of accumulated piety are destroyed. Se vipradhamera hata divasa thakiya vasante nasika tara padila khasiya. Within a few days, that wretched Brahman who had criticized Srila Haridas Thakur and said, if your statement is not true, I will cut off your nose, that wretched Brahman was attacked by smallpox. Smallpox was a very horrible disease. Now it has been eradicated because of vaccination, but that time, 500 years ago, it was there. Even today, you see some elderly people with those pock marks on their face. It is because they had childhood smallpox. It would lead to blindness also. And a lot of deep scars. So what happened? This sinful Brahman who had committed Vaishnava Aparad against Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Mahashaya was affected by smallpox. And as a result, his nose melted away and fell off. Vasante Nasika Tara Padila Khasiya. his nose fell down. Within a few days, that abominable, envious Brahmana became infected with a severe case of smallpox, and his nose melted and fell off. Last verse for today, verse 307. Haridasa Thakure re balile kajena Krishna ottahara shasti karilena tena. The punishment he had proposed for Srila Haridas Thakur was awarded to that sinful Brahman by Krishna. Yes, if we try to harm a devotee, that harm will come upon us. Although Srila Haridas Thakur did not curse or desire inauspiciousness on that sinful atheistic Brahman, since that offensive atheist criticized and spoke unpalatable, envious words to Srila Haridas Thakur, Lord Krishna awarded such severe punishment to him. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavata ki jai. Yes, we see in Ramayana also, Ravan wanted to burn Hanumanji's tail. What was the effect? Was Hanumanji burnt? Was Hanumanji's tail burnt? No. But Ravan's Lanka was burnt. That is the effect. If we try to offend a devotee, it's a mad elephant offense. It will affect us only. Okay. Name Bhakta Chaturvedi, Mad Bhakta Shopachopriya. That even a Chaturvedi is not a devotee of Krishna, Brahman is not a devotee of Krishna, then such a person is not dear to Krishna. But Mad Bhakta Shopachopriya. But if Krishna's devotee, even though born in a family of meat eaters, dog eaters, that devotee is very dear to Krishna. Krishna himself says, Name Bhakta Chaturvedi, Mad Bhakta Shopachapriya. But my devotee is dear to me, even though he may be born in a low family. So we are very fortunate to have received Krishna consciousness, and let us gratefully practice this path of bhakti, respecting everyone, not criticizing anyone, not considering anyone to be inferior to us. We are very fallen, we are very sinful, and we are depending on the mercy and grace of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments? I'm very sorry to go over time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class. So many points you have clarified today, Prabhuji, and with such amazing scriptural references. It was a very, very nice experience for me today to listen to your class, and very fortunate, Prabhuji, to hear from you. These are some things which we need to know, understand, and apply in our life. And yes, we feel very grateful to Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Maharajas. I personally do not have any of the Brahmanical quality, but still they are trying to pull me up and make me a Vaishnava. How fortunate am I, and how merciful are they? Yes, Prabhuji, a glorifying class today, a very, very nice class. And Hare Krishna devotees, please go ahead with your realizations. And thank you, Prabhuji, once again.
Prabhuji, first of all, thank you so much. We are so grateful to you. This was a very hard class, and I'm so glad you were able to cover this class. And it couldn't have been better, honestly. Thank you so much. Prabhu, I know it's 2 hours past. I don't know your schedule. Do you have time for questions?
Madhuri, I can take a few questions.
Parimama. Mataji, you can take over. Yeah, Parimama.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. I mean, it's always a pleasure. Whenever you go over time, it's like nectar for me and for all of us, I believe. Prabhuji, I had this one question. Who are these Jati Gosais? And aren't they pure devotees, or can they be pure devotees? I mean, I'm confused. Who are these Jati Gosais?
Jati Gosais are people born in the family of the original worshippers of the Goswami deities.
Okay.
There is Sapta Devalaya in Vrindavan. Our Goswamis established worship of 7 main deities of Radha and Krishna. Radha Raman, Radha Govinda, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Gopinath, Radha Sham Sundar, Radha Damodar, Radha Gokulanand. So the Goswamis, they were themselves celibate. Vairagis. They never got married, but they established the worship of the deities with their disciples. And these disciples were, many of them were grahasthas. So Jati Gosai refers to people born in those family descendants. And yes, some of them are pure devotees. Anybody can become a pure devotee. But when some people claim the title of Gosai or Goswami simply seminally, simply they want to become Shukracharya, they want to become Acharya because they are in the seminal line, then that is not acceptable, because ours is not a seminal line. Ours is a Shiksha line. It's a Diksha line. It is a line of teachings. Anybody who jo Shiksha Grahan karte hai, anybody who accepts the teachings, the instructions, that person becomes the next Sad Shishya, the qualified disciple. So like that, the Jati Gosais are basically born in the family of the original pujaris of the Goswami deities. And some of them are pure devotees. All of them are devotees. Some of them are pure devotees. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, even the families of the acharyas, because there are so many parivars that are still, existing, and they belong to the lineage of acharyas, our acharyas. So are they also Jati Gosais, or they should be considered as acharyas?
No. Nobody can become Acharya like that by taking birth in any family. That way the ISKCON's next Acharya should have been Srila Prabhupada's son.
Yes, that's true.
No. So ours is like anybody who gives the heart and follows the teachings and Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpan, that person becomes the next Acharya. So those who are born in the family of the Acharyas, no, they are that is not the technical name for the Jati Gosai. Jati Gosai refers to those who are born in the Goswami families. The Goswami established service of the Sapta Devalaya, the 7 deities in Vrindavan. And in that family, anybody who takes birth, they are called, they inherit title Goswami. And if they are actually Goswami, they are Jitendriya, then wonderful. But if somebody is breaking the principles of Bhakti and just claiming the title Goswami, then that is a disservice to the title of Gosai or Goswami.
Yes.
So that we don't accept. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Thank you for the clarification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The one that you are mentioning, that I think you're talking about one Vamsha, Nityananda Vamsha, Advaita Vamsha. They are in the family of Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya. And if they accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the supreme, and they accept Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu in the mood of being devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then it is wonderful and we accept. But if they don't, then there is a difference of opinion there. Okay? Hare Krishna. So I hope that is okay, Parima Mataji. Okay. Hare Krishna.